Dylan, you had a trade that went over Facebook, and I believe you said, and I quote, it was exhilarating. Tell us about it.
Yeah, because I'd never done one before. You're playing the trust system when you go online, obviously, and
Mhm.
I'm pretty hearing everyone else's stories. I'm pretty scared to trust other people, but
Yeah.
luckily the guy was perfect throughout the process, very understanding when I sent him a couple of references of people that bought from me.
hmm
Yeah, through like just bought, not trades, because he originally wanted trade
Yeah.
references, but his what's that?
Yeah. That was kind of odd that he only wanted trade references. I think that your references as a seller are just as good as trading references.
Well, that's kind of what I figured, and he ended up taking it. It was fine. Shout
Mhm.
out to Vance Wheeler. We traded Mezco. He traded Mezco Lone Roach and Grub, which is like the Samurai Mezco Gomez, and he traded me the Stealth Gomez, which is my favorite one. If you guys would listen to, if anyone listens to Small Talk, they probably know that.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, congratulations. Good to have you back on Collecting Weekly. Yeah, it's been I'm trying to get a trade done online. I don't have anyone offering just yet, but I am quite nervous. Dean, do you do trades usually?
Only in person.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing.
So neither one of you guys have done it online?
Dude, no.
I've done trades online, but not
No.
recently.
Yeah, I haven't. I can't even think of an instance where I did a trade online.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Bless you, Dean.
Dean is patient zero.
It's like 4 people.
There's the cold open right there.
Hey guys,
Just
my name
Dean
is Zach.
sneezing.
God damn it, Dylan. Hey, all right, settle. Hey guys, my name is Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Dylan.
Welcome to this week's episode of Collecting Weekly. It's a weekly podcast where my friends and I talk about the things that matter the most to us this week in collecting.
That's right.
We want to thank our friends Watto Scrapyard for sponsoring this week's episode. Without them, it would not be possible. Dean, we have Sweet Angel Dylan on the show.
Yes,
Really
we
exciting
do.
to have him back. We have Dan Lee, Noble Young, Red Wolf in the chat. Good to see you guys here. Dean, let's start off with the world's favorite segment, the one that we've all been waiting for.
Yeah, are you guys ready?
Yep.
It's
New this
week.
week.
so terrible.
Nailed it.
That was.
I tried to go
nailed.
super early.
Nailed it.
Yeah, what you gonna do this week? I talked about this a little bit on the bonus episode, but I got the Super Saiyan 2 head sculpt.
Yes.
eBay for the SH Figure Arts Goku. It's by seller Merlos Fernando 2 on eBay. MERLOS Fernando 2. And damn it, it's fantastic. You had asked me if it was accurate with the 3 things in the hair. It is. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I just thought it would be cool to have like a different Goku Super Saiyan,
Mm-hmm.
and then have the Super Saiyan God, and then the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. But yeah, it's totally accurate. You do need a faceplate only from Awakening Goku. It will not work on the first Super Saiyan Goku head.
Mm-hmm.
The peg is too small on the first one, so
Mm-hmm.
only the Super Saiyan Awakening Goku faceplates will work.
Yeah.
Pretty decent price. It shipped super fast. In fact, it got here early. I don't know about now if you ordered it, but I ordered it, a couple weeks ago. But yeah, it's super cool. I love it. And you should get one if you have, Gokus.
Very cool. Dylan, what'd you get this week?
Well, funny enough, I now have the entire SH Monster Arts Godzilla from King of Monsters line.
Nice.
Like I've had the Rodan and Mothra double pack for a while. I got King Ghidorah from Stevens Collectibles. I had the display model there. And then finally, I just used a bunch of reward points and just got the Godzilla.
Nice.
Have not opened them up yet. But then the other thing I got was Mezco Spider-Man Far From Home.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Which one did you get? You got the is it the black suit version or the
Night Monkey or Advanced or whatever?
Yep. Yeah, it's Nope, it's just the regular like black advanced suit kind of thing.
Nice.
It was seen as they called it a deluxe on Mezco's website, and it definitely like it does not come with enough to be a deluxe. But yeah, I risked my life, ran into Walmart to the FedEx there, and got it there because Walmart's just down the street from me, rather than trying to go to a FedEx place after they don't ship it to my apartment. Just leave it a note. So
yeah, for sure. That's pretty cool. I real quick in the chat, we have Thomas TC from Six Scale Scavengers, the best podcaster in the world, I think. What a guy. Sean says, I had the best news this week with them killer Marvel figures. And Jason says, my connection is slow and cutting out in and out a lot. So for me, new this week, very slow. Like Dean's pickup, I talked about on the bonus episode, which, by the way, give it a chance. It's not a collecting podcast, really. I think we're doing some hobbying in the bonus episode, but it's purely us talking about some of the ramifications about what's going on in our city. It was kind of like a day 0 of the quarantine in San Antonio, and we're on day 4.
Yeah, it's like the last day to hang out.
Yeah, last day to hang out. I think we're gonna have to cancel our 100th episode celebration. It's just too risky to have all these people come over, and so we did one last hangout to like Dean said, just before things are gonna get crazy here. But I did get from Fernando the Super Saiyan armored trunks, and a really great figure. I was given a bunch of shit for shipping in a bubble mailer, but I was just playing with them. I really am not anal about boxes at all. But it's a great figure. I got it for like the price of a Marvel Legend, and for that price, you can't beat it. Other than that, I think I cut a lot of discretionary spending down with all this, rumored impacting of work and the like. I just really don't know what kind of budget we're going to have for anything. So I talked about this on Collecting Weekly Auxiliary, which is our private Facebook group. And I did decide to cancel the Yoda from Sideshow. And when I canceled it, because that's a pretty big purchase. And, I have no idea how bad this is going to get. There's rumors that the Trump administration is going to send out checks for, people making less than 100,000. That remains to be seen. But I still have bills, and I'm not sure how much I'm going to be able to work. So Sideshow was nice enough to refund the NRD. I didn't ask for them to do this at all. I just noticed that I got an email that it was refunded, and I was curious, and so I hit up Bree from the Sideshow Facebook group, and she looked into it and said it was just a complimentary thing that they did, no reason at all. So if you do cancel and you don't get your NRD back, please don't be that guy that complains and says someone else did. It was something nice that they did. I've certainly eaten my NRDs in the past, and like I said, I was just happy that they were able to do that for me. So big shout out to Sideshow. They had a really good week this week, and honestly, like normally we give them a lot of shit, but this week I think they really had a really good week. Let's go into some events from this week. So Hot Toys, along with Toy Sapiens, hosted the DC All-Stars event. And it was really interesting. So this is a picture of the event here. You can see a bunch of people queuing up outside. Not sure how safe this event was. I mean, I'm not sure if in this part of the world coronavirus is ravaging like the rest, but I personally wouldn't have gone to this. But you can see here they have some costumes from the Joker movie, from the new Birds of Prey film, and those are all on display. A lot of people took some of the early marketing material as Hot Toys having the license to the Joker movie, and they were expecting to see a prototype at this event. Unfortunately, it seemed to be just a costume as of now, but it looked like a pretty fun event. They had this little photo booth here that you could take with the like a Joker backdrop or Harley Quinn backdrop with the hyena on the couch. I haven't seen the movie, so I'm not 100% sure what this is from, but it seemed like a lot of people were having a good time. And we did see some figures that we'll start going over. They also had some custom Batman figures on display. But the first figure they had was the Arkham Knight Batgirl, which comes in at $243, releasing July to October 2021. It looks really good. A lot of people were really excited about this. What do you guys have to say about it?
It's a beautiful figure.
I think so. I think it looks really
cape,
good.
The cape looks a little weird, like too thick.
Yeah, and it looks like they put that wire in it, so I'm not really sure how well it's going to drape. But fortunately, Hot Toys Batman / Batgirl cape seemed to be easy enough to swap out.
Yeah, it looks like it literally just goes over her shoulders.
Yeah.
But damn it, I mean, it looks fantastic. I think that also has something to do with the game design, but
yeah,
well executed. I mean, it's not something I would get, but it's fucking sweet.
Yeah.
I just am realizing that they didn't use sculpted hair on this one. Did they do that on the promo?
I'm just realizing that too, actually.
That's
interesting.
It's nice.
Very interesting.
It's nice that it's kind of sorted through the mass, so it can't go wild on you. Like get less of a chance to do it. But yeah, I think this looks great. I love the areas where they have it looks like hard plastic.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it should help the figure out in itself. I'm kind of interested, to see what the final project looks like. I love this game. Love their Hot Toys line of this. Like, I gave you a ton of grief and everyone a ton of grief that I think their video game series should have been on line of the year.
Yeah.
And I think they've killed it with every one of the characters from this, apart from maybe some of the Batman ones just because of articulation, but they look fantastic. And I feel like they've done great with what they had.
Every time Ian posts one of his Batmans, I'm just like, that looks so fucking cool. But
Ian's is on a different level, though.
That's true. He's modified his, but yeah, these things are sweet. I'm not a huge Batman fan, and I just don't like that game. So again, easy pass. I don't have any like want or need for this figure of this line, but aesthetically, they're fucking sweet.
Yeah, if you're a fan of this game, you got to be really stoked at how much love Hot Toys is showing this game, this line. And like Dylan said, VGM might be making a case for a 2020 Collecting Weekly award. They also showed, this is in their miniature collectible set line. We saw earlier in the year the Hot Toys compact Iron Man armory. And now we have a Batman Arkham Knight armory, which seems to have some reskins of like the 89 Batman and the Nolan trilogy Batman. It looks really good. This one is coming in at $200 for the set, releasing July to October 2020. Not a pickup for me, but again, if you're a big fan of this, a lot of people complain that Marvel gets all the fun stuff. And I think it's good to see DC getting, their own version of this type of collectible. Something that can display on a desk. These are, I think, roughly like, I think it's like 3 3/4 scale, a little bit smaller. But these are really, miniature statues that, carry the Hot Toys branding and the Hot Toys quality. Dylan, do you think you could see yourself picking this up?
No, just because of mainly of the price. It's tough to drop 200 per one of those because
no, it's the whole
it's 200 for the full set.
Or sorry, that's what I meant, but it's still like that's $40 per a pop for less than 3, and they are smaller than 3 3/4. I can't remember. We covered it one time in Small Talk how big
I think it's like 3 inches. I think it's not. I think 3 3/4 are the closest scale that we could relate it to, but it's a very odd scale. Like it doesn't scale with anything out there right now.
Right, 100%.
Yeah, that's strange.
But one thing is that this solidifies to me that the reason they're abusing the hell out of this license is because it's probably a cheap way to get a lot of these figures out for them or redistribute them.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense because Iron Studios, I guess in this game you can choose any number of Batman skins, and so they put out in their 1/10 line a Dark Knight Returns skin that looks like, pretty much like I mean, I'm not a huge Batman fan, but like when you look at it, you're like, oh, that's a Frank Miller Batman. Yet it's under the Arkham, Arkham Knight line.
Right.
And that's, I
Yeah.
think, how they're getting the access to the 89 and then the Nolan trilogy Batmans too.
Right. And I think that's just excuses for them to come out with like Batgirl and Deathstroke and all of them, just because I think it's somewhat cheap for them to do compared to getting like a movie license or cartoon or comic or something.
That is true. That is very true. Now, this is stunning. This is the Wonder Woman 1984 Hot Toys, I guess like the gold armor. I'm not really sure what you'd call it. But this looks really good. I can definitely see some long-term issues with this chrome. This is going to attract fingerprints like you wouldn't believe. And the articulation does look somewhat hindered. But, if you're going to pose this in a museum pose, I think this is a pretty sweet figure. Obviously, we haven't seen the movie, so we're not sure how much this suit is in the movie, but I got to say I'm a big fan, especially how well executed the Captain Phasma that I got from Dean was. That chrome was really nice. It was a lot nicer than the Iron Man Retro. I think it was the Mark 15, if I'm not mistaken. That gold chrome was not that great, but the silver chrome on Phasma looks really good. And this one, if it's that same type of chrome effect, I think it'd be interesting to see how good it could be.
Yeah, I was in the market for a Wonder Woman not that long ago. And I was talking with PJ, our good buddy PJ, Sweet Angel. And we were like, oh, he suggested I wait for the movie, so they would announce a new figure and then I could judge from there. And then the trailer dropped and this is in the trailer. And I was like, I bet you that's going to be the figure they come out with. And I want a classic Wonder Woman. So sure enough, this looks fantastic. I haven't seen another Wonder Woman figure, so I don't know if...
Well, there you go, Dean.
Oh, well, what the hell?
Yeah, so at the event, they also showed the a normal type Wonder
I literally
Woman
haven't seen this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was at the DC All-Stars event as well.
Okay, I'm kind of glad I got the one I did because that doesn't look as good. The other one in the gold armor, that face is like spot on. This one's not.
Dean, which one did you get? Did you get the concept one?
No, I got BVS. Yeah, I think.
I'm really trying hard to.
I'm pretty sure I got BVS
to hold off getting that concept one. I love her look.
Oh, that's true. The color,
the classic look with her in the classic look. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Is that the same face? It doesn't look like the same face. Can you go back and forth
to the previous slide? Yeah.
Yeah, the gold one.
People were saying no, but
looks
I think
like it's the same face.
Yeah, I think
it looks really good with the armor, but it does not look as good right there.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the angle.
Yeah, we'll see. But they did have that on display, and both of those have not gone up for pre-order at the time of this recording. They also had the two versions of Harley Quinn that they showed the last few weeks. We've talked about these quite extensively. I'm not a huge fan of these, so we'll kind of go through this. But they did have those on display, and then they also had. Is this the Kilmer Batman, Dylan? You're the big Batman.
Nipples?
Yes.
Oh, that's the Clooney Batman with nipples.
Yeah. This is the Kilmer one, I believe. This one looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks wicked.
Yeah,
this is the third time they've showed it off, right?
Third time they've shown it off, but still no pre-order. So I think people are starting to get a little antsy about what's going on with it. But it is a good sign that we keep seeing it at conventions. So
yeah, I think this one will, no matter what. Go up.
Man, they went all out with DC, huh?
Well, it was the DC All-Stars event, and then they also showed the video game Harley Quinn.
Hey, look at that LMG.
Look at them. Well, anyways, now let's change pace here to Figuarts. This was pretty cool. This is the Figuarts Full Power Jiren. This is up for.
Is this the first time we're seeing it? I haven't seen this.
Wow, Dean, you're killing me. Well, they showed. This is the first time it's been at a convention. Yes. They put up an Instagram. Yeah, they put up an Instagram teaser. This looks really good, though. I think Figuarts is kind of getting into that thing that Hot Toys does, where they'll release a product and then wait for it to ship, and then like release a next version of that product. It happened with Broly. They pre-ordered Broly and everyone got their pre-orders. They didn't receive them yet, but then they showed the powered down version, and then same with Jiren. They they did Jiren, and then it came out, and now they're doing full power Jiren. I think we knew that this figure was going to come, being how the Ultra Instinct Mastered Goku was coming out, but
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see what this costs and what it comes with.
I really don't care that they're doing that, because usually when it comes to Dragon Ball, I have every version of every character on the shelf anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, stupid question with you guys in here. What's usually the biggest difference between the full power ones and the regular ones?
Like
usually, they're more jacked.
Damage.
Yeah, and then like in this case, like Dean said, it's the battle damage. So,
just real quick example, a Super Saiyan Goku, right? And then let's just say that was full powered. He'd be like more jacked, and he's got battle damage.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. I just have
which one's the Goku that goes for like almost $1,000 or sometimes more?
That's the it's like a Mexico exclusive.
Oh yeah,
1.0 Goku. It's going for bonkers money right now.
Yeah, someone in one of the groups that I'm in posted it going for $2,000 on eBay.
Yep.
Asking and selling are two different things.
Yep.
Hey, what's up, Rainer?
We got Rainer and Manny in the chat. So Super Mad Toys did post an update on their Hunter K. Given how crazy this week has been, I'm trying to be like full positive this episode. So they said that here's a pic of test painting of Hunter K. It's too pale, still improving for the perfect version. The progress is still slow due to the affection of Outbreak here. Labor is still not in full force. Hunter K will delayed to the end of Q2. The other products will be updated. If any friends want to pre-order Hunter K, Hunter D, you can email him at sales@kgbhobby.com for inquiry. And this is the head sculpt. And I have to say, it's really not that bad. It's not as good as the Jinx sculpt, but you're getting a fully painted. I think this comes with 2 head sculpts, 1 battle damage, 1 not. The full figure, almost every accessory he uses in the movie, and I think it was like 160 if I remember correctly. So I'm not shitting on this head sculpt too much.
I just don't think it looks like Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, but you've said that about every Ryan Gosling sculpt I've ever shown you.
Facial hair throws him off too, for sure.
I just think Ryan Gosling is so handsome that no one can nail that sculpt.
That's probably true. That's
I
why
thought the same about me, but Sean
Washington
killed it.
I gotta let that one go.
So we'll see what happens with this figure, but I am very excited to get my copy and finally have it on the shelf. Dean, let's thank our sponsor for this episode, Watto Scrapyard. Do you want to tell the world about all the cool things that Sean is doing?
No.
All right, let's move on then.
Oh, yeah, dude, Sean is killing it, crushing it. Custom head sculpts at the wazoo. He keeps coming out. Dude, I'm like, he's got to be like reaching the end of, nope. He fucking comes out with something I've never even heard of. He's filling niches left and right. Custom 3D printed sculpts, 3D printed parts for your Kenner vehicles, Hasbro vehicles. Dude is insane. I don't know how he does it.
Dude, I shot him an idea. I was dude, you got to make the Kylo Ren helmet from the Revenge of Skywalker.
Ooh,
the Rise of Skywalker with all the cracks, so that'd be easy to paint. And he's like, I'll take a look at it. So hopefully we'll have some good news. And he did offer. So if you're in this stream, we'll make a thread on Ox and we'll do some honor system stuff. Just let us know you watch the episode live, and also comment if you're watching but you haven't commented yet. We'll give you guys an entry. We're going to do a drawing next Tuesday for this auxiliary exclusive smirking Lando Calrissian head sculpt. We also have an extra way to enter the drawing, but Dean, do you mind putting up that post on Ox while I'm going through the slides and just say, hey, comment here if you're watching live? But if you don't mind, it's the great head sculpt, and there's a lot of people said that it might be hard to get a Watto figure or a Lando figure to put this on, but that's the beauty of customizing. You can find your own clothes for Lando, or you can upgrade one of your older Sideshow figures. So big shout out to Sean from Auto Scrapyard for doing that. We had an idea from one of our members, Gerald, to showcase some collections from people in Auxiliary. And I wanted to show off my collection here now that I finally got my bookshelves almost all the way set up. So I picked up these 2 Target bookshelves, and I'm a big fan of like shelving for displaying figures instead of like detofs. I think detofs are pretty cool, but I just, ever since I've had these cabinets, they're a lot bigger than detofs. I just can't I'm just used to having them now. And so everything that I have is ran by LEDs. We actually did put up that video we mentioned last episode on the smart outlet stuff. And you can see here and here I have some different smart things going on here. Got one case for figure arts, one case for a bunch of random stuff, and then one case for my higher end figures, my customs, etc. And then I have my kind of like my mini collection wall with my G1 Transformers, the 3D printed logo from 10th Dimension Manufacturing. Then I have what's that?
Where's the goat?
I put the goat away. It was causing. One time you came and you roasted the goat, and then it was back, and then it was left, and it was back.
I love the goat.
You always you like the goat, and then one time in one of my pictures, you were like, "Why is there a random goat in the picture?" And it hurt my feelings, so I took the goat out.
I love how Zach.
We'll see when the goat comes back. Okay.
I love how Zach roasts every head sculpt ever made, and then Dean comes over and shits on his goat and pulls it right away.
Yeah, but most of those head sculpts that come with figures, I mean, people don't even spend that long on them. I spent days on that goat. Okay.
We had a whole episode about the goat. I love the goat.
All right, I'll put the goat back. And then I have these little cubes here, and I am in the process of reorganizing them. I'm hoping to sell my Transformers Prime figures and free up a cabinet, but that's kind of what my collection looks like. And then here's some other spots you guys don't normally see. I have like some frame comics, some signed art prints, and then some signed autographs from some cool people that played Vader. And then, of course, I have my art from Dean and my art from my wife for Goku from Dragon Ball. And I cherish these pieces, hang them on my wall to this day.
I like your Kylo Ren shuttle.
Yeah, what's your framed comics that you got there?
So I have a 9.6 CGC Thrawn, the 1 in 50 edition, the Darth Vader annual 9.8, and then I have 2 other common 9.8 Vader comics, but I just like the art on them, so I just picked those up. Now for Alfred from comic book characters, he sent a few pictures. He has a 9.8 Miles Morales, Spider-Man #1, Jackie Chan, my old Agent K, oh, love it, and a bunch of other figures here, some Funko Pops, all his Star Wars Blu-rays, Harry Potter Blu-rays on display. Always good to see that. Big fan of that. Sean has a really cool collection. I think this is the Jazz Inc. dioramas display, if I'm not mistaken, and he has a bunch of 18-inch figures and 6-inch scale Black Series all lit up with LEDs. Really liking that. This is Nick McCauley's figure collection. It's funny because some of these are like my old figures, and I like to see them in other people's collections. So, is that your old what?
Vision, or is
that is no, that's not your old
okay.
There, let's see, my old Mark 46 is here, my Black Panther is here with the custom base, and then I think he didn't get my Deadpool. Well, maybe he did get my Deadpool.
No, I have your Deadpool.
Breaking real quick.
What's that?
Mario Cortez just posted that the Rogue One Stormtrooper Jet of Patrol is back up on Sideshow.
Oh, I already have that figure.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, if anyone wants it. Yeah, you know that. This is Gerald's collection here. So again, using DTOFs.
Yeah.
And I did recommend that he get some something to cover these windows here because I don't want his really nice figures to get damaged. But ARC Trooper Echo in 5s, Iron Man Mark 5, Iron Man Mark 7, 2 Death Troopers, Mark 46, Anakin, Obi-Wan, really crispy ass collection. And I was giving him some recommendations on lighting to light his cabinet. And then Sweet Angel, Danley. Dean, I think you'll recognize some of these figures. Tell us what some of these are.
That's the I believe those are Chigokins. That's the VF1J Reconnert. Mm-hmm. I forget the designation, but it's
fake fan.
It's Max Sterling's. Lisa Hayes over there, right in the middle. Beautiful Lisa. I believe that's a SH. I forget what the figure arts line is called, but metal. I don't know, but they're from Robotech
What a
or
guy.
Macross, maybe.
And then he has an assortment of G1 Transformers. Really, really nice collection. Love that Optimus Prime pose. That is fucking amazing.
That's pretty sweet.
So hopefully we'll have some more collections to showcase next week. I know I gave the guys kind of a short deadline for this, but
I was asleep. I'm sorry.
yeah. So Sideshow, like I mentioned earlier, they had a good week. I usually kind of shit on Sideshow here. Let's be honest. But this week they had a great week. It's their birthday. Happy birthday to Sideshow. They were doing coupon codes for rewards points, and I wanted to show you guys how to do this because there's some people that don't know how to do rewards codes. So usually whenever we get a code, we post it on Collecting Weekly Auxiliary, and what you do is you'll log in to Sideshow's website, and it brings you to like the homepage. Obviously, you'll click the top left where there's like a little person icon, and you'll see a menu like this. You'll click the hey, in your case, it'll be your name, and it'll bring you to your account tab. Now you scroll down on your account tab, and you'll see a section called Sideshow Rewards. So again, we go from the little icon in the top left with the person, click on your name, it'll bring you to your account, scroll down to rewards. And in rewards, you'll see this little thing that says have a rewards code, and you will enter the rewards code that you have, hit redeem, and it'll save that rewards code to your account. Now, I started this week with $4 of rewards codes points, and I have $30 now because they've been very, very generous with the codes this week. And by generous, I mean they're giving us several $5 codes, and they're lasting like 10 minutes. So last time we had something like this, it was $5 codes that would last a minute, $1 codes that would last like 2 minutes. So I gotta say, Sideshow really, really impressed me this week. I really don't have anything bad to say about them. Now, along with their birthday celebration, they did show 2 figures for order: the Batman Noir version and the Joker Noir version. Batman is 225 with a limited edition size of 500, and the Joker 240, again with a 500 edition size. These are just black and white, or like black and blue toned versions of past figures. And I mean, these look okay. I think they'd be better if they were the more recent releases of Batman and Joker. Dylan, do you have anything that you want to add about these figures? I mean, I just think they look okay.
Yeah, they're easily like just super hardcore Batman fans.
Yeah.
Like 500 might even be a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I was surprised to see that edition size, but we'll see. So happy birthday, Sideshow. And, you guys earned a reprieve from the roast session this week. Now, Dean, with all the coronavirus quarantines going around the nation, 2 companies threw us a little bit of a bone. And let's be real. I mean, we're still having to buy these things. Right. But Disney released Rise of Skywalker like 4 days early on digital. Right. And Birds of Prey is releasing super early on March 24th. Like I think it's like technically still in theaters, I think, and they're releasing it on video on demand. So, again, these companies are not doing this out of the kindness of their hearts, but
no, they want to make.
I will say, being able to watch Rise of Skywalker early was fucking dope.
Yeah, so, I enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed the special features.
Really, I haven't got to check them out yet. What segments did you like?
Oh, pretty much every single one of them. They were great. They had a really nice one about John Williams. It was pretty sweet.
Did they have deleted scenes?
No.
That's what I thought. Everyone was kind of worried about that. What were you gonna say, Dylan?
Watching it again, did you guys like it as much?
Yeah.
I honestly fucking love that movie. Rise of Skywalker. It's
I definitely have issues with it, but it's a fun movie.
Yeah. I'm just so happy that it wraps up most of the points of this trilogy in a decent way that I can accept.
Yeah.
And I just really love Kylo's story in these 3 movies. You know, what is it? The Last Jedi?
Mhm.
Not a fan of that movie. But I do like the way this movie tied up some loose ends from that one and the first one. So, but we could spend all day talking about what we did and didn't like about this movie.
That's true. We really
Let's
could.
move on to a new movie, though, Dean. So, as part of our search for content in this desert of COVID-19, we are a weekly show. We need to make content. We introduced a segment last week of cult movie reviews.
Yeah.
And let me read a little bit about this film that we chose. And then, since you're the biggest fan here, we'll let you tell us about the franchise and what you thought about it. So, Ghost in the Shell is a 2017 American science fiction action film directed by Rupert Sanders and written by Jamie Moss, William Wheeler, Aaron Kruger, and it's based on the Japanese manga of the same name by Masamune Shiro, set in the near future. When the line between humans and robots is blurring, the plot follows Major, a cyborg super soldier who investigates her past. This film was not without some controversy. The casting of Scarlett Johansson as Major Mira Killian brought accusations of whitewashing, with some quotes saying the original is about as Asian as things get. Japanese cult manga, groundbreaking anime, Hong Kong-inspired locations, Eastern philosophy-based story, most of that being downright ignored with its big screen adaptation, and Scarlett Johansson's casting as the dark-haired, obviously originally Asian lead sent citizens into a rage. Apparently, at one point, the filmmakers had tried using some test footage to make her appear more Asian, which caused more backlash, and they canceled that idea. Currently on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a rating of 44% based on 288 reviews, with an average rating of 5.5. The website's critical consensus reads, Ghost in the Shell boasts cool visuals and a compelling central performance from Scarlett Johansson, but the end result lacks the magic of the movie's classic source material. Dean, tell us what your thoughts on this movie and this franchise are.
This movie is a masterpiece. Every frame of this movie is a work of art. It's stunning. The story is really good. The guy who created Ghost in the Shell was there every step of the way. They didn't step on this guy's toes. They didn't do anything he wasn't comfortable doing. They also, a lot of people that are quote unquote upset about whitewashing obviously didn't watch the movie because they explain that very clearly, like what's happening. Also, you need a big name to sell a movie, and Scarlett Johansson is arguably one of the biggest female actresses in the world. She's also perfect for this role because she can do this like weird, like emotionally stunted kind of dry, emotionless kind of like, a robot.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, I think it was great. I think it was a fantastic choice. Also, if you watch the anime, the character is very Caucasian. She's got really pale skin, a really broad nose, big blue eyes. I mean, I could send you screenshots. It's just like, I don't know, man. I'm not gonna get into the controversy, but this movie, holy shit, dude! It's just like one of my favorite films of all time. It's perfect.
Dylan, you watched this movie as well for this segment. What did you think about the movie?
Yeah, just finished it like a half hour before the show. It's just a future version of RoboCop. It's shitty.
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
Oh my
kidding.
God. Wow.
I was about to cry.
Dean's reaction was fantastic.
I know. I wanted to set him off. I think it was very good. I didn't think about the whitewashing, obviously, because I didn't know a whole lot about the anime. This was the first version of this I watched. I wish I would have seen this before. What's that one that just came out like last year. Hot Toys is doing a figure of her.
Alita
Right.
Battle Angel.
Yes, Alita. I wish I would have watched this before that.
I still
This
haven't seen
seemed
Alita, so no
this
spoilers.
seemed like where I thought that movie was going to.
Uh-huh.
Like where I thought Alita was headed, and this one went a different route, and it seems like a little bit more grown up, complex route than that one did. And I like the fight scenes a lot. I really like the futuristic take on it. Like it makes you think of like Blade Runner and things like that a lot. I enjoyed the visuals a lot. The story, after a while, I really thought I forget his name, but the guy with the white hair spiked up, who was kind of her buddy, I really thought he was going to go bad towards the end. That's who she was going to end up fighting the whole time.
Oh man, I love Bato. He's actually from what's his name from Game of Thrones. The sea guy, the bad guy.
Oh yeah, I didn't even piece that together.
Yeah, dude, the differences between the two characters are like night and day. He's a really good actor.
No, but it was fun, and I loved how she was like in every scene. She pretty like they used the crap out of her for sure. I don't know. I guess they probably.
It's funny you mentioned the thing about RoboCop because I also watched the movie right before this, and they do a thing that they have in RoboCop where they tease. He's like walking into what's it called? The headquarters, and Ed 209 is there.
Yeah.
And then later on in the movie, he has to fight Ed 209. They do the same thing. She's walking into the Hanco Robotics, and the spider droids are outside. And then at the end of the movie, she has to fight one.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That's a nod to the anime. Those spider droids are like a huge part of it. They like pilot them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought so first thing, the first impression that I got was stunning visually, of course. If this movie had no opening, title or whatever, and someone just played this, I would have thought this was like a sequel to Blade Runner, like the background, the art style, even the plot. I would have just easily have assumed she was a replicant. I really enjoyed this movie. I felt like her partner, what did you say his name was?
Bato.
I felt like they really wanted Johnny Depp in that role for some reason. Like I just kept thinking like this movie would be a tiny bit better if it was Johnny Depp.
Really?
I don't know why. I don't know why, but I just kept like going back to that thought.
Yeah.
Costume design, incredible. This movie, I've said this many times, I'm not the biggest Marvel fan, so maybe there is already something like this. But certain scenes of this felt like I was watching like a Black Widow movie, like just the tactical nature of the way that she's operating with her team. I just really, really liked that aspect of it. I didn't really get the whole invisibility thing that kept coming up. I guess that's just like a thing they can do. But I love the world that they're in, where it's that meshing of people are upgrading themselves with robotics, and that was really cool, especially when her partner got injured, which, like, minor spoilers, they replaced some of his parts with robot parts, and I really liked it. I would say it's like a strong 8.5 out of 10 for me. I think it was good. I don't think I watch it all the time, but I certainly appreciate how intricate the set design was, the world building was. This was a pretty good movie. We'll fast forward through some screenshots here. So this is her getting, she was injured in the film and she's getting some parts repaired. This is an example of the world building. It's just so beautiful with that Asian inspired.
This is most of these are practical effects, miniatures and such. This is by Weta Workshop.
Oh, okay. Weta's good people.
Dude, they are. I don't think anyone can outdo Weta. Dude, they are a whole cut above.
Yeah, I just love like all the advertisements and stuff.
Yeah,
I think they did a really, really good job, and bringing it back to collecting. I know we said we'll try to bring these back to collecting when we can. 3Zero did make a 1/6 scale Ghost in the Shell Major, and Dean, you actually have that figure. Tell us what your thoughts are about it.
It's fantastic, dude. The outfit is crispy. It's just a little small. 3Zero for some reason is just small because she's almost a whole head shorter than my Black Widow figure. but it's very well done. It doesn't feel flimsy. The armor bits are held on by actual. The weapons are cool. It's just a really cool figure. I'm really glad I picked it up. I got it cheap too. I think I picked it up for $125,
Oh my god!
and it retails closer to.
Can she be posed pretty well?
Yeah, dude, pretty great. Zach and I tried to do a body swap.
I think we could have
just-
succeeded, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we got to the point where it was like all I needed to do was some very minor alterations of the body, but it was a body I had for another figure, so I didn't want to cut it up just to like see if it would work.
Right, yeah.
But certainly, I think we could have easily finished that custom.
I think the head sculpt could be better. Because this almost seems like they were like, yeah, it's like an Asian Scarlett Johansson, because it doesn't really look like her, but it also doesn't not look like her. It's weird.
The only time in the film that I thought maybe they did a little bit of, I don't know if you call it like there's like blackface. I don't know what you call like yellow face. I don't know if that's a concept, but the only time I felt like that, I've seen that term used on different websites. I don't think that that's like a racist term or anything, but the only time I felt like they may have tried to do that effect with her was right in the beginning when when she's first put into the shell. Her eyes just look like, right when she wakes up. And I know you did mention, Dean, like specifically, I remember when we first talked about this movie, you mentioned like, oh, there's a reason why. And I guess it does make sense. Like if you were to make a new version of somebody, you wouldn't like just remake them, especially if you want to keep their past dead and not have people recognizing them. I think it makes sense to make them look totally different. Like, if they just remade the person, like that wouldn't really help anything. But I
they like totally like put a mask on him and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I did like the movie. I don't understand how it only has a 44% Rotten Tomatoes rating.
Again, it was a small group of people making a lot of noise.
Yeah.
But dude, this again, like they didn't step on anyone's toes. Anybody was there working on set, working every step of the way. So like to me, if the creator of the thing didn't want Scarlett Johansson to be a part of it, he probably would have said something. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure he had a huge say in the movie. So I don't know. I just feel like maybe some people were like, well, if people are offended, I'm not gonna go see it. But I highly recommend watching this movie. It's fucking beautiful.
Yeah, I feel like little things like what Zach was saying, where he didn't know like the invisibility came from and things like that. Like it just was there and just popped up, and she used it only a couple times. I feel like that's definitely like probably paying homage to the anime. Am I correct?
Yeah, there's a lot of like shot for shots from the anime. Now it's been forever since I've seen Ghost in the Shell, the original one, because it's a movie, and then there's also like 4 different series or some shit. So I can't tell you if this is like beat for beat a retelling of an original story, or if they just I can't imagine it's too different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure the invisibility has a huge play in the manga or the movie.
So watching this, I like at the end, I kind of thought about this. I'm like, if this would have came out now, like 3 years later, I feel like it would have done a lot better. I just feel like people are sitting in a different place with kind of open to kind of this type of movie than they were at the time that this did come out. Because I vaguely remember it coming out. I remember wanting to see it, and then it just kind of fell off the map.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that like you guys talk about it like being like whitewashed, or people saying that it was like maybe it probably wouldn't then.
It's like, guys, there's a lot of Japanese in this movie. You have to read a lot. Like there's one character who just doesn't speak English at all, and he's arguably the coolest fucking character in the movie.
Dude.
So like I don't know, like I feel like again, like if everybody in this movie was a white guy, I'd be like, all right, this is a little, but it's
Yeah.
a pretty diverse cast. Anyone who should be Asian is Asian. Again, we could pull up screenshots. The majors, at least in the movie, is very Caucasian looking. Now,
Yeah.
it's an anime and it's stylized, but
Maybe
this movie is just fucking fantastic.
Real quick, going back to the chat, Danny Lee says, "Yellowface, how dare you?" I think he's probably being a little tongue in cheek, but it is a thing on Wikipedia. So that was where I got my source for that phrase. And
Wikipedia is open source, though anyone could get on there.
Yeah, but that's an article that hasn't been edited, and it's a long-standing article. And anyway, so Danny Lee says, "Did they make her in her skin-tight outfit?" Yes, they did, and it's fantastic,
dude. The actual outfit, if you watch the special features, is insane that they were able to pull it off. It's not CG. She's actually wearing that.
Going back to the figure, you can get it right now at Big Bad Toy Store. It's on sale for $130, 23% off from $167. Let's get into Custom Corner now. Dean, Cloud Strife is one of your favorite characters of all time. Final Fantasy VII, one of your favorite games of all time. And you're working on a 3D printed figure of this character, and you've run into some speed bumps. So tell us what's going on.
Oh my god, dude, the hair. It's just so spiky that every time the print supports near the tips or the whole thing will break off with this.
Yeah.
And if you look at the one on the right, the very top headpiece that just like didn't print properly. It just like decided to not print. It just stopped printing right there. And then the other ones, they are intact, but like the tips will break off, which isn't a huge deal. Or like they'll just like kind of wave because they're real thin and the plastic comes out very hot on the extruder. And so when it's sitting there, it'll warp. So it's just been a fucking nightmare. I got to figure out how to print it. Like just the head maybe and then glue it on. I don't know, dude. It's been such a pain in the ass. This is like that fifth one we've printed that's like the other one's just like failed like at the beginning. So I don't know. I printed it upside down, straight up. If I print it face up, then the layer lines are going to be really weird.
What if you print the head in resin and then print the body in plastic?
I could, but I don't have a resin printer.
I thought you did.
No. Oh, I mean,
your company does
for work. Yeah. This is the printer I have like readily available, but
gotcha.
That one's for work. So
yeah. Well, hopefully if it does work, I said, Dean and I are going to work on this custom if he can get the print figured out. That's a big thing. And then Dean was going to do some prep work, and then I was going to do the paint and the decals. And I think it'll turn out pretty good if we're able to get it right. This was I love this so much. Victoria finished my 1/6 scale head sculpt from Watto Scrapyard, and the likeness is incredible. I love this thing. I've been putting this on every figure that I own.
You should put on Leonidas.
Dude, that'd be dope. Bring it over. I'm down. But yeah, so it's the 1/6 scale head sculpt of me. I put it on my Iron Man Mark III here, and then the Kylo Ren V1. Really fun thing. And then, of course, the Stormtrooper. Just such a good figure. I really love the way this thing turned out. Let's talk about our last bit of content for the show. I'm surprised we made it an hour. I was thinking this would be like a 20-minute episode. But we're into the Sweet 16 of March Madness. Let's read the matchups here. So Count Dooku versus Harvey Dent, Darth Maul versus Crate Luke, Luke Endor versus John Wick, Doctor Strange versus Thanos, and then going to the second conference, War Machine versus Mark 7, VGM Spider-Man Scarlet Suit versus Yoda, Winnie the Pooh versus Spider-Man movie promo edition, R2D2 Deluxe versus Black Panther. So one of those figures will be our winner for the best figure of 2019.
I cannot believe the Spider-Man movie promo editions made it this far.
Me neither.
Like, it's just a re-release.
Hasn't it had some good competition, like not good competition to go against? Like
yeah, it's kind of skated through. Jason, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I was just gonna say one that that I thought like might pull an upset was War Machine over Mark 7.
Okay, I could see that.
I think
could definitely see that. Going back to Ghost in the Cell, Jason says, didn't think anything could bore me more than that movie. Apparently talking about the movie was just as boring. LOL. Well, a lot of people tuned out, so probably. But going back to the bracket stuff, so I talked to TC from Six Scale Scavengers, and I think next year we might do some sort of collaboration with them to make 2020 March Madness a little bit better. He had mentioned that some of the seeding was a little bit awkward. And while I certainly agree some of these, specifically round 2 matchups, were not ideal, we have somewhat of an idea of a solution for this. But essentially the way we did it was we got all the figures together, and then I randomized them and then put them into Challenge, which randomizes them again. So they're randomized twice. And the logic that I have for these brackets is like, if any figure is truly the best figure, it will win any matchup. Like, that's how I feel about it. And that's kind of how, the NCAA football tournament is. Like, the football teams, like LSU will play Alabama in the regular season. And
March Madness is basketball. Okay.
Well, March Madness is basketball, but they have the benefit of having seeding, of having played a full season to get to that point. So I just like, you could probably say like these figures are the best 10 figures this year, maybe. But once you get to like seeds 45, like how do you say what's the 45th best figure versus the 46th best figure? It starts to get real muddy. We had some ideas of next year doing 64 figures and splitting them into 4 categories, which is like really good figures, pretty good figures, okay figures, and figures that aren't so good. And then doing almost like a World Cup system where it's like 4 figures in a group and the best 2 figures to get the most votes advance. Something like that, where you could pick 2 figures in each group. Outside of that, I'm not really sure how you could do it objectively. I think doing it random is probably the best way to do it, because, if you say like these 4 figures are the best figures and you space them out, you're kind of going to end up almost always guaranteeing that those 4 figures make the finals. And at least that's how I see it. I know Dylan had some ideas that he wanted to talk about the seeding or some opinions. Dylan, what do you think about how we did it this year versus, some of these potential ideas we're running by?
Yeah. When you insert a lot more just objectiveness, it takes a lot of the fun out for the people doing it. Like us people, or mainly you who creates this. I think that's half the fun of it, is seeing some of these matchups that probably wouldn't show up. It's almost just kind of if you do it with the seeding wise, it will just end up like a figure of the year type thing, where, like what you're saying, stuff that we already know. Whereas this, it's fun because yes, like you said, the best figure will win, but then we get to see cool matchups like the War Machine from Infinity War versus the Mark 7. And I know the War Machine was very, very, very well received with a lot of content creators around the community. But Mark 7 is an Iron Man Mark 7, obviously. Like that's a lot of people like the Iron Man to have. So you see like fun matchups like this. And then so like the other one, like Darth Maul and Crate Loot, like you'll see. And I remember last year I really liked seeing the results, and I think you started sharing them as time went on, right? Like the percentage of votes or something like that. I think that would be a lot more fun. Maybe that's about the only thing I would change.
Yeah, we can do that. The only thing is, this year I'm so bummed. Last year we were getting so many people participating, and this year it seems like not that exciting. Like if it ends up being like something where we're going to limp to the finish, I don't know if I want to spend the effort to do it next year. So I'm hoping that we'll get some more votes in this round. Especially adding the head sculpt as essentially the second way to get bonus points. So we put up voting earlier this afternoon, and if you want, the voting went Friday at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you do vote, make sure you use your first and last name on Facebook, because we'll enter you into a drawing for that head sculpt. So if you watch the episode live, you get one entry. If you also fill out this Google form, which takes like 10 seconds, you'll get another entry, and you can win a Watto Scrapyard custom head sculpt for the smirking Lando Calrissian. But yeah, I mean, I just don't know. Like,
and like I said too, like 99% of the community are not content creators. They're not people that are throwing their opinions out in the middle of everything else and possibly skewing other people's to where, so like you can have definitely on some pretty big figures, people go one way or the other, for like what we were talking about Mark 50, for instance, where you guys were not a big fan of that figure, whereas I love that one. I think it's about as good of a figure as you can do, like I said, for how organic that and CGI that suit was.
yeah.
And so I love that one, and I thought that was one of the better Iron Man just because of the way they had to engineer it. But just things like that is an example. Like we're when we rank things, we're taking a little bit of a voice out of the community, and that's something like we're not all high and mighty. We got to listen to the
and a lot of people said that a few people said we should have done 64 or 128. It's a staggering amount of work to do. I think we did 52. It takes a long time to do that. And not only that, but we put out there in our group for like a week asking for people for non-Hot Toy submissions that were released in 2019. And I think we came up after a week with 14. So, barring us legit putting literally every single figure released last year, which would be a tremendous amount of work, that was our group with 220 people or whatever. That's what we came up with, was like 14 other figures. And I mean, I'm very proud of the list we came up with, but I'm just not really sure how to go about next year, if we're going to do it next year or what. But I know Thomas TC from 6 Scavengers offered his time to help us next year, so it'll be interesting to see what we can come up with as a team. But yeah, make sure to vote. Voting closes Friday at 10, and those are going to be your different Sweet 16 figures, and this is the head sculpt that you can win if you you might win it if you fill out the form. So that's pretty much it for this episode. I know we have some big news, of course. Wookiee of the Year podcast was added to our network. We're waiting for their for the file to put it on the stream, but also Manny, Dean, Rayner, and myself recorded the first episode of Creeps or Us on Friday. It's coming out this Friday in like 3 days, and it was a really fun recording. We talked about some paranormal experiences that we've all had within our families. We had a little bit of a spooky moment that happened during the recording, and I was so bummed that we didn't get it on video. It was creepy.
What was it?
We can't tell you. We can't tell you. We gotta wait till Friday.
Okay.
You hear it live. It's a recording, but you hear our live reaction. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
I'd love to hop on that. I love that Manny is so into that like would get me hyped for horror.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good time, and like I said, we hung out. We did our bonus content, and then right afterwards we got up and stretched, and then we went right back into recording for another hour for the horror pod. So I think you guys have a good bit of content to tune into this week, and hopefully we got the Wookiee of the Year stuff going. But that's pretty much it for this week's episode. Let's go into shout outs. Of course, big shout out to 6 Scavengers, Brian, Chris, TC. TC, such a good guy, donated his time for that, and then also he said he was going to send us a free figure art Spider-Man, so he's sending it to me, and he said if I don't need it, just to give it to one of you guys or just do whatever with it. But very generous of him to do that. PJ the Paradox Nerd had us on his show a few weeks ago. We had him on ours. Really, really good guy. Danley, I really hope I didn't offend Danley. I felt bad that he might have been offended by my remarks. So Dan, I love you. I'm sorry if I offended you. Of course, Darkside Customs in the UK. Ian does a really good job with Only Fools and Collecting and his business. And of course, Dylan, you and Damien are killing it on Small Talk. I think you're recording this Thursday, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that is very cool. And if you guys like our show, like this video, give us a subscription and check us out on TeePublic. We dropped, I think we have like 26 designs on our TeePublic, and we'd love to see more collectors rocking some Collecting Weekly swag. It definitely means a lot. And of course, Stephen Krett from Millennial Mutt, he said that Kevin is a very cute dog and he wants to give him some swag. So, Dean, if there's some Millennial Mutt swag, you might have a new brand ambassador. And then Danny Lee says, I'm not offended. Thank God. I felt so bad. I literally was like, oh. And Noble Young in the chat, Jason Nelson, everyone that tuned in tonight, you guys are great. But that's it for me. Do you guys have any shout outs you want to give?
No.
Big shout out to the HEB employees in San Antonio. Without them, our city would be falling apart right now.
Just everyone that's really making this whole thing easier in general.
Yeah, definitely. And definitely everyone that's actually taking it seriously, because, you know, look, there's pictures and video of Florida today where it's their spring break and those motherfuckers are crowding that beach like you wouldn't believe.
Dude, I saw that. I was like, what the hell's wrong with you people?
So,
unreal.
Yeah, big shout out to those. And I just wanted to say briefly, now that we're kind of done with the show, we do plan to continue the show throughout this event. God willing, our health stays intact, and as long as we're healthy enough to be doing this, I think we'd like to do it, even if there's not a ton of news. And for you guys that are listening, it would definitely help us if you want to come on this show. Let us know. The more people we have talking, the longer we can stretch out any little bit of content. Kevin is just going to town there on your face, Dean. That is the most beautiful thing. And of course, we really appreciate Dylan coming on today, because I think this really could have been like a 30-minute episode without Dylan giving us some talking points. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully we'll be here throughout this whole coronavirus outbreak, and hopefully we all make it out healthy at the end. But barring anything crazy, I think we do plan to be here. And the way I see it is, it's really crazy, but this is like a good hour for us to get together, hang out, and hopefully people are entertained by our discussions.
How is it in Fargo?
Yeah, how is it up there?
Pretty slow. We had our first case. First case. There's 3 in North Dakota active right now. Mm-hmm. I think 2 of them are 60 plus years old, and all 3 came from travelers. There hasn't been any community spread here, which is good. If there's a chance of it, it's definitely in Fargo and Bismarck right now, the 2 biggest cities. But I feel like everyone is pretty ahead of everything. I know, where I work, it's a pretty big work environment. So we've been working from home since we will be until next Friday, and then they reassess it. Everyone's been pretty ahead of it. The governor's been on. I feel like they've taken needed action by.
Yeah, in Texas, Austin and Houston just shut down all their restaurants and bars. We're trending towards that. All of our schools have been shut down till April.
Yeah, can't go inside any Chick-fil-A's now.
Whataburger shut the doors, only drive-through now. So shit's getting real, dude. And it's just crazy because someone in Victoria's work tested positive. And granted, she works in a campus that's like the size of most colleges. So, when they say that they're positive, it's like, there's like 50, 60,000 employees that work there. And this person was someone that worked off site that was only in the building like for a few hours. And
yeah, that's all it takes.
It's all it takes, but it's on such a far part from where Victoria's at that we're not too worried that she has it. But it is scary.
Hey, she doesn't. But
I know when you coughed, Dean, at the beginning of the show, it scared me.
It's just, dude, there is such thing as seasonal allergies.
That's the thing, though. I had a sneeze in public. I walked and I felt like I got some. Literally, you could see pollen. It was everywhere, and I sneezed in public, covered my sneeze like a good boy, and everyone's like, "Yo,
fuck you!"
So
get the fuck out of here.
I can be a bit of a hypochondriac sometimes. I just psych myself into it. So I had one of our friends she's a nurse, and scary enough, where she works, they do testing for it, and so we didn't have a thermometer, and I was like, I'm feeling kind of hot, you should take my temp. And she just kind of went through it all and was like, yeah, you're totally fine.
Where did you get that mask from?
I don't. It's for like a child, I think.
You
looks
bought
like
that?
looks like underwear.
Y'all, I think if y'all haven't listened to our bonus episode, it is hilarious. There's some funny ass moments in that episode. It's good stuff.
It's a good episode, man. I had so much fun.
Anyways, guys, I'm Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Dylan.
Catch you on the next episode.
Bye.
Godspeed, everyone.
Also, we have Caesar in the chat, says thanks for the swag. Caesar, you sweet, beautiful angel, you are most welcome. And Caesar actually lives in Texas. So Caesar, once all this Corona stuff comes down, you're welcome to come down and have a beer with the boys.
Where's he at?
He's in well, I don't want to say it on the public, but he is in Texas. He said he thought it was your wife's, the Scorched Earth's wife's bra. The guy that has the wife that, anyways. All right, guys, this is a good show tonight. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next week, God willing. Peace.